G'day guys, and welcome to this business management lesson. In today's lesson, we're looking at Key Knowledge Point 224. That is Unit 2, Area of Study 2, and the fourth key knowledge point for this area of study. Today specifically, we're looking at target market attributes, such as market dimensions, segments, consumer trends, and behaviors. Now, when it comes to market attributes, ultimately we're talking about different ways of breaking down and looking at the people that might have the opportunity to buy your products or purchase your services when you make them available. For marketing purposes, it's very useful to know what kind of people are the most likely to buy your products, because these are the people that you're going to want to spend your time trying to attract. It might be that your business is going to be selling wheelchairs, walking frames, walking sticks, devices to aid people with mobility who would otherwise have a hard time getting around. And if you do your market research right, and you work out who your target market is, you'll probably work out that it's going to be the people most likely to experience mobility issues. This is probably going to be the elderly. And in that case, there would be no point running advertisements for your products in surfing magazines. There'd be no point putting up posters promoting the website where people could access information about and purchase your products at child daycare centers, because these are situations and environments in which elderly people aren't likely to be involved. That's the whole point of looking at market attributes. It's to determine the features that make an individual more likely to buy your products. And once you've identified those people, or at least the groups that share those features, you can then target your marketing more effectively. When we are looking at market attributes and you're segmenting the market into different groups or by different characteristics, you might find that there are small pockets of the community that are going to be particularly interested in your business. When you are marketing to a small group who share common features, that's niche marketing. When it's more broad and a lot less specific, for example, if instead of marketing simply to the elderly, if you're marketing to everybody who wears shoes or to everybody who needs to eat, then that would be mass marketing. Niche marketing is when we're talking about a small group. Mass marketing is when we're talking about far, far more people with much broader connections. Now, in terms of market segmentation, there are many different ways to look at and break down the market. But some common strategies might be to look at the geographic conditions that apply to the market. This might include where people live in terms of city or country or town, state. It might include the size of the city. You might know that small towns are less likely to have individuals with the same needs as larger, more urban environments. It might include the climate. You're probably going to sell more beach towels in an environment that has warmer weather, coastal environments with warm weather, than you would in inland environments with much cooler weather. You might segment your market by looking at the demographics of the population. So this is things like age, gender, education level, family size. If you're promoting a toaster that will toast 4 or 8 slices of toast all at once, you're probably going to target that to families with a certain number of people in them. Individuals who live on their own are probably not going to have a use for that sort of product. You could look at psychographic metrics or segmentation for breaking up your market. We could be looking at social class, could looking at whether people are particularly ambitious or particularly compulsive in their attitudes to life. You could look at political persuasion, so people who are more conservative or people who are more socially aware. You can look at whether people are generally more optimistic or pessimistic in their approach to life. Perhaps there are some commonalities there that would dictate whether someone is more or less likely to purchase your products. And you could look at the behavioral segments. You could look at people who are specifically seeking quality in the things that they purchase. Or perhaps people who are specifically motivated by economic factors, and you've got more price-sensitive consumers in this group. It might be that Uh, there are some people who are looking to purchase this thing once and never again. It might be that there are people who are specifically motivated to go shopping lots. They enjoy the act of shopping. And so what they want is convenience and access and reliable supply. Whatever it is, for whatever product it is you're trying to sell, knowing what it is that dictates whether someone is more or less likely to be interested in buying your product is hugely beneficial for identifying where you should be putting your time and effort in marketing your products. Once again, if we think about our example of wheelchairs and walking frames, we could consider that if you're an Australian manufacturer of these products, you might be looking at this stage not necessarily to export outside of Australia. So you know that the people most likely to buy your products are going to be in Australia because that's the only place you plan to sell your products. So straight away we can identify Australians would be the geographic consideration. As far as demographics go, we can consider the elderly. You might say above the age of 55 or 60 is when people tend to encounter mobility difficulties more commonly. So that might be our age bracket. Gender, it's not like gender has any impact on whether you end up having joint troubles. Although, however, osteoporosis is more common in females. So it might be that elderly women are more likely to end up needing your product. Income levels, it probably doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. You can still suffer joint problems as you age. Education level, once again, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have. Joint pain can come to us all. Family size, once again, doesn't matter if you've got no children or you had 30 children. Whether your knees go bad is an entirely separate issue. Occupation might be interesting. It might be people that were participated in trades or sports, industries or occupations that they had to use their body a lot, might be more likely to develop mobility issues as they age. And certainly nationality and race. I can't see any reason to imagine that would have an impact. And so that would be how you consider the demographic factors. And as you go, you could identify what matters and what doesn't matter. I'll just be clear that this table here is not an exhaustive list by any measure. I'm just trying to illustrate that there are many, many different factors to consider when you're segmenting a market to identify the characteristics and features of your target market. And for any product that you will promote, that you will market, you need to be aware who is in and who is outside of your target market and what features, characteristics, and factors make them most likely to be in your target market so that you can market your products in a very targeted and effective way. Your target market, just to be clear, are the people who are most likely to purchase your products. They're the people who share the features and the common attributes that make your products the most desirable for these people. It might be, with our elderly example, that these people are specifically the ones who might have a purpose for your product. In other cases, it might be your particular cafe has very trendy decor. You sell products using ingredients that are very trendy. And so your target demographic is a certain type of person who would appreciate that decor more than the products you sell being specifically appropriate for one group over another group. Nike, everybody knows the brand Nike, I imagine. Their target market are specifically going to be people with an interest in sports and fitness attire. Not necessarily athletes themselves, not necessarily people who are good at sport and fitness. In fact, many of the people who run marathons probably have needs outside of what Nike offers. But Nike's target market are the people who are interested in wearing clothing of a particularly sporty or fitness tangential image. In summary, for this key knowledge point, your target market are the people who are most likely to buy your products. And as you undertake market research, you can learn about these people and identify what characteristics make them more likely to purchase your products. Once you've identified what characteristics these people share and worked out perhaps where they are and where they can be reached, you'll be able to market to them more effectively. It's sensible in many cases too, once you've identified your target market, to promote your business broadly. To promote your business to beyond just what you've identified as your target market, because no matter how good your market research is, there's always the chance that you have been a little bit too specific in your decision making, perhaps a little bit too niche, and there might be people with tangential use cases for your products that are slightly outside that target demographic. And so a little bit of extra effort or a little bit of extra investment just to market a bit more broadly might pick up sales from people who have tangential interests that you didn't necessarily identify in the first case. That's all for today. See you next time.